When you're good.
Watch the high gain antenna on the spare over here. You're a little close.
Copy.
And mutt's in the way, and I don't really want to move it too much.
All right, we can just do it later.
Stand by.
Okay. I can rotate it that way if you like.
That's good. Stay right there. All right. Yeah, I think I got several pictures of it there.
Okay.
It's the one closest to the high gain antenna, correct?
Yeah, there's two of them, and the one closest to the high gain, that's, yeah, that's affirmed.
I got photos.
Okay. I'm handing it over to you to...
Please keep control for now.
I am.
And you can rotate the handrail toward the up. And let's see.
It'll lift this end up.
Yeah. Tom, if you could just rotate it so that it's RFG facing up. There you go.
I see.
And we're almost in there. Just need to straighten out. And if you could lift your end up.
Work.
And but further, your end needs to go toward forward and up a little bit. That's looking pretty good. The jaws aren't fully, the pedals aren't fully popped out. There they go. And I'll lock them now. And let me put my ret on it.
All right, I still have my hand on it. No ret.
Roger. All right, I've got an independent ret. It's a large, small ret from the
Okay.
ret. It's a large, small ret from the handrail of the degraded SASA to the ELC3 grid, and paddles are jaws closed, paddles out, and locked. So you have to go to remove your ret, Tom.
Copy. Feels really stable on there. And I'm going to have to go, let's see, Matthias Raspberry, I'm going to need you to head up about 10 centimeters. Okay, good clearance.
The SASA is just above your helmet now, Tom. You may need to lean back.
Stand by.
The brakes are coming off, and you're in a body frame now, and you want 10 centimeters head up.
Body frame, that's affirmed. Roger, clearance, and 10 centimeter, heads up.
Copy, starting motion.
Motion. And stop motion.
Stopping motion.
For brakes on.
You're hearing the voices of Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron, and as Tom communicates to the operators of the robotic arm, Matthias Maurer and his backup Rajachari, he's giving commands so he can hand off the degraded SASA to Kayla Barron, who will work to stow the SASA on the Express Logistics carrier.
Ready for the GCA to publish to the spare site.
Are you ready for...
We're in a brief but expected handover period between satellites right now, getting a live view of mission control in Houston.
First, we're going to take out, we give you 10 centimeters body down.
Copy. Good motion.
Okay, next we're going to give you a meter body left.
Copy.
There has been a lot of back and forth between the work sites. Kayla Barron first starting off in her original position coming out of the Quest airlock, heading over to the Express Logistics Carrier 3. She then went back to the P-1 truss where Tom Marshburn was to help remove the degraded SASA. They've both now gone back to the Express Logistics Carrier where they're stowing the degraded SASA. Fortunately for their next step, they're going to stay here at the Express Logistics Carrier and retrieve the spare. If you remember earlier, Kayla Barron did a lot of tasks to get ahead on this activity.
10 centimeters. Wrapping up. Okay, that's the published position. How's that look?
I'm going to need, you're looking another 10 centimeters. Well, actually, let's stick with that. Body forward, 20 centimeters. Got good clearance?
20 centimeters, body forward, moving.
Good, baby's clear. Motion.
All right, there's 20 centimeters.
It looks good. And MGCA.
GCA complete. Brakes are on.
Drew, I'm here at the site. I believe I got to get rid of these pit fins.
Yeah, good words. Tom, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. First of all, tremendous choreography right up through this point. You guys right now are about an hour ahead of the timeline. The limited consumable is still MEDOX about 7 hours, so plenty of time. We would like to get a glove and hat check from both of you, and then, yes, we're going to start working the shirt and scarf.
ED1, half is dry, gloves remain pristine, unchanged from dress.
And my hat is dry. My gloves look good. I do have some black smudges on my fingertips. I'm trying to hold it up to my camera for you.
We're checking, Kayla.
Seeing that? Okay. Got a good view.
We're going to continue, Kayla. We see them, and we are good with that.
Okay. And Tom, I see you found the tether.
I did.
We're now approaching the 2-hour mark out of our planned 6.5-hour spacewalk. NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron working diligently on their task of replacing a degraded communications antenna system. They're now about an hour ahead of schedule. The SASA, or S-band antenna subassembly, is used to transmit.
I'm sure I can reach that.
Is the shirt and scarf both tethered, Tom?
No, the scarf is not.
Okay.
I see tether points over on your side. Looks like they're rotated from what we expected a bit.
Okay. Do you want to pass the adjustable through to me?
Yes, we can work that.
I just can't, I gotta be careful because I got the Logan antenna near me.
Yeah. Might need a GCA to get to you.
Just try kind of passing it, like let it float.
Yeah.
It might have a red on it, I think.
Yeah.
If you remove your red, I would probably be able to get it, Tom.
Okay.
This antenna is used to transmit low-rate voice and data between the space station with the flight controllers on the ground here in Houston using S-band radio frequencies.
I'm just going to take a second to make sure the RET cord. This RET appears to be locked out, Tom. Is that intentional?
It was. It was helping me out a lot.
May want to consider unlocking it once I get this on here. My worry is that it could snarl.
Yeah, I'm going to tend it out here, keep it straight.
And did you remove it from the tether point?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to get over there, at least to be able to throw it to you.
All right, stand by. I'm going to need to use hands probably.
I can always GCA again to get in there.
Barron and Marshburn now communicating back and forth, working on the best way to stow the degraded SASA to the Express Logistics Carrier 3. This degraded SASA was on the P-1 Trust and it got moved here to the space station's Express Logistics Carrier.
All right. Why don't I try to GCA in there?
I can get it, Tom. I'm just going to need to put a BRT down, I think.
Okay.
Just because I need two hands in order to prevent the tether from moving. And I don't want to run into the Logan antenna. It's just off to my side. Okay, and if you could turn the tether back toward me, please. The scarf is now tethered, and are you able to reach a tether point on your side?
I am. Now, I'm not, the tether point that was in the picture, I'd like to make absolutely sure that it's not another. If we could confirm there's only two tether points for the scarf.
My vantage point, that one right in front of you, looks like it's on the shirt.
I think it is two. Its connection point, though, was covered by an MLI flap. Let me go back over to the...
Com check with you.
Tom, we think that there are two tether points on the scarf.
And just two. Okay. Then we have both the shirt and the scarf tethered at this point.
Tom, if you could just stand by for 1 second.
Copy. Not working against you.
Because of the way the tether is now routed, we're just going to have to slide the scarf off the end of the high gain antenna.
The shirt and scarf you hear them referring to is basically a thermal blanket covering the bulk of the communication system and its skinnier neck.
Okay, there's some...
You need to release the Velcro on your side, and then we'll just slide it off forward. And then it will be clear.
Okay. There we go.
Clear, Tom?
Not yet. There we go.
Away. Scarf is removed.
Turn on the shirt. And I'm working a little too far away from the SAT, so I'm going to ask for another ECA if I can take the comm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Matthias, Roger. Need a ECA to get a little closer.
Where do you want to go?
All right, I want to go body up 10, 20 centimeters and pitch down about 30 degrees. Pitch forward 30 degrees.
The body up 10 centimeters and then pitch forward 30 degrees.
Good copy.
Here comes the body up motion.
Pretty good motion.
here comes pitch forward.
And stand by.
Standing by.
Give me another 10 centimeters body up.
Another 10 centimeters body up.
Good
Starting motion.
Begin motion. And stop motion.
Stopping motion. And then here comes the pitch forward.
Don't need the pitch forward. This is good. So hold off on the pitch forward and in GCA.
Stay complete. Brakes are on.
All right. I'm going to pull the MLI away from you as you back out. Feel like you're all clear? I can hold the MLI away here if you want to go get the large hook.
Just stand by one, Tom.
Okay.
I think there's still some Velcro attached on my side that I'd like to release.
Copy. I can rip to it. Do you want me to hold it out of the way and you just move the large hook over?
Yeah, that would work once you get it off.
Okay.
At a time that you think makes the most sense, we'd like you to get a photo of bolt 4, gimbal bolt 4, that photo of bolt 4, gimbal bolt 4, that was not in the exact configuration we expected. And if you wouldn't mind, at any point, whether that's as Tom's flying in or while he's working his mass bolts, anytime, not absolutely required, but it'll be helpful if you can.
You just heard the voice of NASA astronaut Kayla Barron. It will be her first spacewalk, while Tom Marshburn is on his fifth. Marshburn's first 3 spacewalks took place over the course of the 15-day STS-127 mission back in 2009. The mission saw the delivery of the Japanese-built exposed facility and the experiment logistics module exposed section to the space station. The 4th spacewalk of his career occurred in 2013 when Marshburn worked with Chris Cassidy to mitigate an ammonia coolant leak.
You're in position hold. We're setting up here, and we'll be ready to maneuver to GCA to publish for the SAS attempt stow position.
Copy. Kayla, do you want me to hold it up to you for a picture or just wait till later?
Is it currently gimbal bolt 4 on my side? Yeah, let me give it a shot.
Yes.
And Tom, we're loaded up, so just let us know when you're ready.
Okay. Ready for the GCA to publish?
Copy. Starting GCA will be about 2.5 meters later.
Copy.
Not sure if I got it there.
I'm going to get a little closer to you right now.
Good motion.
Good motion.
And Kayla, Tom, just confirm you're clearing the high gain antenna from the EL23.
And Tom can confirm I am.
Okay, thanks.
Got it tended forward.
1 meter to go.
Continue. Stop motion.
You can confirm stop motion?
Stop motion.
Stop motion, about 30 centimeters short of the published.
What do you think, Kayla? I think we're good.
I think we can get it on.
Okay.
Feel comfortable.
All right, in GCA.
Copy, GCA complete.
And I can hold it up so you can get that picture right now if you'd like.
Okay.
Or before we pop it in.
Say again.
I can turn the high gain around to you for a picture if you'd like now, or
Okay.
do it later. All right?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Okay. A little closer for you than that last one. Tell me when you're good.
Watch the high gain antenna on the spare over here. You're a little close.
Copy.
And mutts in the way, and I don't really want to move it too much.
All right, we can just do it later.
Stand by.
Okay. I can rotate it that way if you like.
Let's go. Stay right there. All right. Yeah, I think I got several pictures of it there.
Okay.
It's the one closest to the high gain antenna, correct?
Yeah, there's two of them, and the one closest to the high gain, that's affirmed.
I got photos.
Okay. I'm handing it over to you to...
Please keep control for now.
I am.
And
Control.
you can rotate the handrail toward the nut. And let's see.
It'll lift this end up.
Yeah. Tom, if you could just rotate it so that
That one?
RFD facing up. There you go.
I see.
And we're almost in there. Just need to straighten out. And if you could lift your end up.
Work.
And but further, your end needs to go forward and up a little bit.
That.
That's looking pretty good. The jaws aren't fully, the pedals aren't fully popped out. There they go. And I'll lock them now. And let me put my RET on it.
All right, I still have a hand on it. No ret.
Pleasure. All right, I've got an independent RET. It's a large, small RET from the handrail of the degraded SAFA to the ELC3 grid, and paddles are, jaws closed, paddles out, and locked. So you have to go to remove your RET, Tom.
Copy. Feels really stable on there. And I'm going to have to go, let's see, Matthias Raspberry, I'm going to need head up about 10 centimeters. I got good clearance.
The SAFA is just above your helmet now, Tom. You may need to lean back.
Stand by.
The brakes are coming off, and you're in a body frame now, and you want 10 centimeters head up.
Body frame, that's affirmed. Got good clearance and 10 centimeter heads up.
Copy, starting motion.
In motion. And stop motion.
Stopping motion.
Waiting for brakes on.
You're hearing the voices of Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron, and as Tom communicates to the operators of the robotic arm, Matthias Maurer and his backup Rajachari, he's giving commands so he can hand off the degraded SASA to Kayla Barron, who will work to stow the SASA on the Express Logistics carrier.
Ready for the GCA to publish to the spare site.
Are you ready for...
We're in a brief but expected handover period between satellites right now, getting a live view of Mission Control in Houston.
First, we're going to take out, we give you 10 centimeters body down.
Copy. Good motion.
Okay, next we're going to give you a meter body left.
Copy.
There has been a lot of back and forth between the work sites. Kayla Barron first starting off in her original position coming out of the Quest airlock, heading over to the Express Logistics Carrier 3. She then went back to the P-1 truss where Tom Marshburn was to help remove the degraded SASA. They've both now gone back to the Express Logistics Carrier where they're stowing the degraded SASA. Fortunately for their next step, they're going to stay here at the Express Logistics Carrier and retrieve the spare. If you remember earlier, Kayla Barron did a lot of tasks to get ahead on this activity.
10 centimeters. Ramping out. Okay, that's the published position. How's that look?
I'm going to need, you're looking probably another 10 centimeters. No, actually, let's stick with that. Body forward, 20 centimeters. Got good clearance?
Copy, 20 centimeters, body forward, moving.
English, baby's clear. Motion.
All right, there's 20 centimeters.
It looks good. And then GCA.
GCA complete. Brakes are on.
Copy. Drew, I'm here at the site. I believe I got to get rid of these pit fins.
Yeah, good words. Tom, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. First of all, tremendous choreography right up through this point. You guys right now are about an hour ahead of the timeline. The limited consumable is still MEDOX, about 7 hours, so plenty of time. We would like to get a glove and hat check from both of you, and then, yes, we're going to start working the shirt and scarf.
EV1, half is dry. Gloves remain pristine, unchanged from dress.
And my half is dry. My gloves look good. I do have some black smudges on my fingertips. I'm trying to hold it up to my camera for you.
We're checking, Kayla.
Seeing that? Okay. Got a good view.
We're going to continue, Kayla. We see them, and we are good with that.
Okay. And Tom, I see you found the tether.
I did.
We're now approaching the 2-hour mark out of our planned 6.5-hour spacewalk. NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron working diligently on their task of replacing a degraded communications antenna system. They're now about an hour ahead of schedule. The SASA, or S-band antenna subassembly, is used to transmit.
I'm sure I can reach that.
Is the shirt and scarf both tethered, Tom?
No, the scarf is not.
Okay.
I see tether points over on your side. Looks like they're rotated from what we expected a bit.
Okay. Do you want to pass the adjustable through to me?
Yes, we can work that.
I just can't, I gotta be careful because I got the Logan antenna near me.
Yeah. Might need a GCA to get to you.
Just try kind of passing it, like let it float.
Yeah.
It might have a red on it, I think.
Yeah.
If you remove your red, I would probably be able to get it, Tom.
Okay.
This antenna is used to transmit low-rate voice and data between the space station with the flight controllers on the ground here in Houston using S-band radio frequencies.
I'm just going to take a second, make This RET appears to be locked out, Tom. Is that intentional?
It was. It was helping me out a lot.
May want to consider unlocking it once I get this on here. My worry is that it could snarl.
Yeah, I'm going to tend it out here, keep it straight.
And did you remove it from the tether point?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to get over there, at least to be able to throw it to you.
All right, stand by. I'm going to need to use hands probably.
I can always GCA again to get in there.
Barron and Marshburn now communicating back and forth, working on the best way to stow the degraded SASA to the Express Logistics Carrier 3. This degraded SASA was on the P-1 Trust, and it got moved here to the space station's Express Logistics Carrier.
All right. Why don't I try to GCA in there?
I can get it, Tom. I'm just going to need to put a BRT down, I think.
Okay.
Just because I need two hands in order to prevent the tether from moving. And I don't want to run into the Logan antenna. It's just off to my side. Okay, and if you could turn the tether back toward me, please. The scarf is now tethered, and are you able to reach a tether point on your side?
I am. Now, I'm not, the tether point that was in the picture, I'd like to make absolutely sure that it's not another. If we could confirm there's only two tether points for the scarf.
My vantage point, that one right in front of you, looks like it's on the shirt.
I think it is two. Its connection point, though, was covered by an MLI flap. Let me go back over to the...
Com check with you.
Tom, we think that there are two tether points on the scarf.
And just two. Okay. Then we have both the shirt and the scarf tethered at this point.
Tom, if you could just stand by for 1 second.
Copy. Not working against you.
Because of the way the tether is now routed, we're just going to have to slide the scarf off the end of the high gain antenna.
The shirt and scarf you hear them referring to is basically a thermal blanket covering the bulk of the communication system and its skinnier neck.
Okay, there's some...
You need to release the Velcro on your side, and then we'll just slide it off forward. And then it will be clear.
Okay. There we go.
Clear, Tom?
Not yet. There we go.
Okay. Scarf is removed.
Working on the shirt. And I'm working a little too far away from the SAT, so I'm going to ask for another ECA if I can take the comm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Matthias, Roger. Need a ECA to get a little closer.
Where do you want to go?
All right, I want to go body up 10, 20 centimeters and pitch down about 30 degrees. Pitch forward 30 degrees.
The body up 10 centimeters and then pitch forward 30 degrees.
Good copy.
Here comes the body up motion.
See good motion?
Oh yeah, here comes pitch forward.
And stand by.
Standing by.
Give me another 10 centimeters body up.
Another 10 centimeters body up. Good start motion.
Begin motion. And stop motion.
Stopping motion. And then here comes the pitch forward.
Don't need to pitch forward. This is good. So hold off on the pitch forward and end GCA.
Stay complete. Brakes are on.
All right. I'm going to pull the MLI away from you as you back out. Feel like you're all clear? I can hold the MLI away here if you want to go get the large hook.
Just stand by one, Tom.
Okay.
I think there's still some Velcro attached on my side that I'd like to release.
Copy. And I can ret to it. If you want me to hold it out of the way and you just move the large hook over.
Yeah, that would work once you get it off.
Okay. I'm ready to the whole thing, and I'm just going to gather it up, put it out of your way once you get that last MLI off.
I understand how it's routed on this side, so I can get it out to you. And I think that was the last little piece there.
Looks like it. Yeah, I've got a good hand on it. Before we sock in your workspace, if you want to move that over, and I am ready to it as well.
1 second to reconfigure things a bit over here.
No worries. Looks like a faceful.
I'm grateful we're not trying to put that back on. It's a lot of Velcro. In very specific places.
Barron and Marshburn had worked to temporarily store the failed SASA right at their current work site. They'll come back once they've installed the new unit to do a more permanent stow of the degraded SASA. They're working on their first task to retrieve the spare SASA. That will be removed and taken over to the P1 truss. The first step of that is removing some of the thermal protection.
The other looks very nice.
Tom, I'm just going to take a second to put down my BRT.
Sounds good.
So I have two hands when I'm trying to pack.
Yeah, get yourself all set. I'm going to, once you're good and I let go of this, I'm going to, let's see, ask for another GCA to get the launch bolts.
I should be ready in just a few
Yeah,
moments here.
And Drew, could you confirm, once Kayla's stuff in the MLI, I can start setting up to release the launch bolts on my side?
Yeah, Tom, we want you to get in a good arm position for that, and then we'll configure your PGT with the ERAD whenever you're ready.
Copy.
I'm working the large hook now, Tom.
Okay.
Marshburn just communicated with Ground IV Drew Morgan that he's ready to configure his ERAD, or Enhanced Right Angle Drive. This is a tool that is used because the bolts are not necessarily in an easy position to get to.
Hook attached to the medium mill U-bar. You have a go to release your tether.
Okay, and work.
He has 2 launch bolts that he'll be working to release.
Okay, it is released. It's all coming over to you.
Roger.
And if I can take the comm for a moment, I'm going to DCA.
Yep, you have a go to take the comm.
Copy.
And this is still locked out.
And Matthias and Roger, ready for a DCA, body down.
Copy, body down. Do you want to go back to where you were?
That's a good copy, and hey, for I really need body down 20 centimeters.
All right, 20 centimeters body down. Starting motion.
Good copy. Good motion. In stop motion.
Copy motion.
GCA.
DCA complete. Brakes are on.
Copy. Going for my URAD.
Copy, Tom, and understand that you're now in a good position. You can go ahead and configure your PGT. I'll give you settings when you're all set up.
Okay, copy. I'm getting out my URAD right now.
Ground IV Drew Morgan getting ready to give Tom Marshburn some heads up on tool configuration, giving him the settings for his pistol grip tool to get ready to release 2 launch bolts.
I'm grateful we put the adjustable in the bottom of the bag. Definitely helping me out. And I'm just working on trying to get it all in here.
NASA astronaut Kayla Barron worked slightly ahead of time. When she was at the Express Logistics carrier the first time, she did some of the tasks needed to retrieve the spare SASA. This is a task they're both working on right now, but she did some of the tasks ahead of time.
A 6-inch wobble is on my 210 on my right adjustable with a good full test.
Copy.
The S-band antenna subassembly, or SASA, went down last September with a failed return link. This means that Mission Control was able to send data up to the space station, but the antenna lost its ability to send signals back to Earth through NASA's Tracking and Data Relay satellite system. Because the space station has so many built-in redundancies, we are still able to communicate with the International Space Station from the ground, even without the SASA. The station also has high-rate Ku band uplink and downlink capability that relays video, and the station has other low-rate S-band systems as well. This is the first spacewalk to replace the SASA since Joe Tanner and Heidi Stefanovshin Piper replaced a SASA on the S-1 Trust during the STS-115 mission on September 16, 2006.
And they rise on my PGT with a good full test.
Copy, Tom. We're going to configure your PGT to Bravo 4 counterclockwise, too.
As Tom Marshburn gets his tools set up, you can see views of the Earth peeking through the right side of your screen. The International Space Station just is crossing over the ocean at the moment, right off the coast of Brazil.
And I've got the shirt and scarf sewed in the medium ORU bag. That adjustable across the bottom was a game changer, so excellent suggestion, Tom.
Awesome.
Very nice work, Kayla. I know how tough this can be sometimes. And at the end of the day, we are going to be able to bundle crew lock bag and the medium ORU bag if you prefer. So just keep that in mind in the event that when you go back to restow, the mutt ball stack is there. But it looks like you're going to have plenty of room.
It's looking pretty good. I would say it's taken up about the bottom half of the bag.
Andrew, say again, settings. I'm in Bravo.
Bravo 4, counterclockwise 2.
Bravo 4, counterclockwise 2, verified.
Okay, those are good settings. You're going to work the forward and the aft bolts. If you're counting at the PGT, we're expecting 11 to 19 turns.
11 to 19 turns at the PGT.
Good readback. And just let us know what bolt you're working first.
All right, I'm working the nadir bolt on my side, on the native side.
Copy that.
Starting. All right.
NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn now working to release 2 launch bolts. This is an activity he was originally going to do with Kayla Barron. However, she was able to get the launch bolts off earlier in the spacewalk. She's getting ready to work on some mast bolts. Removing these mast bolts will release the spare SASA.
19 turns. And this is till it pops out, correct? I don't expect the torque.
Yep, but we're going to pop out. We expect it to spring out. Kayla's all took a little more than 20 turns.
Okay. It's not springy, but it did come up. So I'm going to put in some more turns.
And I've
Sounds
been
good.
working on getting in a good position for the fast bolt. I've got Bravo 2, counterclockwise 2 steps. I'll stand by for go to drive those.
Those are good settings, Kayla.
It's advantageous that Kayla Barron got to work on releasing her launch bolts ahead of time. As it turns out, it took 1 more turn than expected on the pistol grip tool. The ground IV Drew Morgan was able to communicate that with Tom Marshburn, who's working on his now.
And copy 5.5 to 9 turns.
And Drew, the nadir bolt on the zenith side is out in springing. It was 24 turns. Torque was 8, maximum torque.
Marshburn is now halfway done releasing the launch bolts of the spare SASA.
On that first one.
Happy working the second one. Would be the zenith one on the zenith side.
Copy that.
The forward zenith fast bolt is released, and that was 9 turns.
Copy 9 turns on the zenith.
Barron confirming that she is halfway done undoing the 2 mast bolts that she has, while Tom Marshburn has released one of the 2 launch bolts that he's working on.
Kayla, can I just go ahead and get a glove and hat and a safer check from you?
I can tell you now my half is dry. I'm going to wait on gloves and safer until after the bolt because I'm already in a good position with my hands full.
That works.
And, all right. And Drew, that was 44 turns. Popped out. And 10 was the highest work there.
Okay, copy that, Tom. And so now you can stow the ERAD, reconfigure your PGT, just give us those pool tests.
Copy.
And then ultimately you'll put that PGT away, and then we'll go through your checklist before we have you get in position to grasp the spare SASA.
Copy.
Tom Marshburn confirming that he has finished releasing the 2 launch bolts that he was working on the spare SASA. He got direction from his ground IV, Drew Morgan, who gave him the direction to configure his tools and ultimately stow them away. With these steps complete, we're almost ready to remove the spare SASA and move it over to the P1 truss.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
Looks like on the plate that the RFG is mounted to, on the opposite side of the RFG, there's an MLI, a piece of MLI. Is that supposed to be there, or was that supposed to be removed?
Kayla, that's expected to be there. Doesn't need to be removed.
Okay. Confirming. One area of the Velcro got removed. I pulled it off inadvertently, thinking it was part of the other MLI, but it's reinstalled.
Nope, but good check.
Drew, I can report a good glove check, no delta, and good saber handle checks, both sides.
All right, perfect. Thanks for checking.
ERAD is back on the socket caddy with a good pull test.
Copy that, Tom.
And the 6 inch is back on the PGT with a good pull test.
Okay, copy, Tom. We'll get that socket caddy stowed and the PGT stowed, and then we'll go through your pre-SASA grasp checklist.
Copy. Do need to clean up my crew lock bag just a second for the trip home. Back. All right.
All right, looks like you got everything put away there, Tom.
Back in a good position. I say firm.
Okay, well, first thing we're going to...
We'll need another GCA to get firmly onto the RFG.
Yeah, Tom, I think we'll have you go ahead with that little GCA, and then we'll go through your checklist.
Okay, copy that. I want to be able to help lift up. So, Matthias, Roger, I'll take body up in centimeters, 20 centimeters.
20 centimeters, body up.
Good copy.
Brakes are off. Starting motion, body up.
Motion. You need stop motion.
Motion stops. You ready for brakes?
And body left 20 centimeters.
Left 20 centimeters.
Copy.
There's motion.
Good motion.
Wrapping out.
All right, stop motion.
Okay, motion stops.
And GCA.
Okay, complete. Brakes are on.
I just want to get maximum leverage.
For those of you just tuning in, we're just about 2.5 hours into the spacewalk with NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron.
Hold in close to you. Adjust your visor as you need to. Sunset will be coming.
It's Kayla Barron's first spacewalk of her career, and the duo is working to replace a faulty S-band antenna subassembly, or SASA, with a spare already aboard the station.
Copy that.
Clear. Others are clear.
And then if you just, if your heaters are set and your cooling is good, then you can go ahead and ret to the handrail there.
Complete.
5:15 a.m. Central Time, 6:15 a.m. Eastern is the official start time of this spacewalk, marking the beginning of the 245th spacewalk in support of space station assembly and maintenance.
I'm still in Bravo 2, counterclockwise 2.
Good settings. 5.5 to 9 turns to release.
Up here a little bit further.
The SASA went down last September with a failed return link, meaning that Mission Control can send data up, but the antenna lost its ability to send signals back to Earth through NASA's Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System, or TDRS. Fortunately, due to some redundancies on the station, we're still able to communicate with the International Space Station on the ground, even without the SASA.
It's torquing out at this setting.
Copy, checking.
We found out about this faulty system back in mid-September, and it was actually really advantageous for us because it meant Kayla Barron and Tom Marshburn hadn't launched to the space station yet. They had time to train in NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory here and NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. It's a large pool that astronauts use to train for their spacewalks on the ground.
Current setting is Bravo 7?
Negative. Bravo 2.
Bravo 2, okay.
All right, Kayla, we're going to reset your PGT to Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2.
Roger. Change my body position a little bit to support the higher torque.
Kayla, our apologies. We are going to attempt one more time at Bravo 2. I apologize for that. And we want to make sure that your hand location there, that you're hanging onto a FRAM handrail and clear the NZGLs.
I was not hanging on to any handrail. I got my BRT down and I had my left hand on my BRT while driving.
Okay, copy. That sounds like a good configuration. And we'll do Bravo 2 counterclockwise 2, and we have a handover in about a minute.
Turn. And it torqued out, but also slid off the bolt head, so I'll try again. I come down and just make an adjustment here, Tom.
Okay.
Okay, Kayla.
My hand in there to help hold that on, but go ahead, Drew.
Hi, Kayla. Now we are going to reset to Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2, and we're going to try one turn only, and we have a handover in less than a minute.
Roger. I'm in Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2 and understand one turn only at the settings.
Good read back. We'll catch you on the other side.
Need to move my BRT.
Okay. I can hold your PGT if you want.
That's all right. Just want to make sure I'm in a good position for the higher torque.
Okay.
The spacewalkers here so far are about an hour ahead of schedule. So far they've completed tasks like getting the degraded SASA, removing it from the P1 truss, and moving it over to the Express Logistics Carrier number 3. They've temporarily stowed it using a rigid tether that Kayla Barron had installed earlier during the spacewalk. They're both now back at the Express Logistics Carrier 3 to remove the spare SASA.
And also not touch the FG at all.
Okay, guys, we're back with you after the handover. How'd we do?
Looks like about one turn to me. What do you think, Tom?
I saw some movement there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
there we go.
torque is broken.
Definitely broken, yep. Still had to reposition, but looks like we got a good turn on it.
Okay, Kayla, we're back with you, and we're going to reset now to Bravo 2 counterclockwise 2.
Bravo 2 counterclockwise 2 is set.
Unfortunately, when the SASA went down back in September, a spare was already aboard the International Space Station on the Express Logistics carrier. A new part did not have to be launched to them.
10 turns. And it popped out around
Look at
12.
that. It's out of the soft back as well.
There's no soft
We
back
see it.
there, just
That looks good.
alignment in.
It's out. Good job.
Thank you.
And if you want, I can check your safer handles. I can just take a look.
I did feel them a
Go
couple
for it,
minutes ago, but
I'll just check out.
take a look if you can see them.
If you grab something and pull your head down a little bit, I'll probably be able to see them. But if you're confident you got them, then, or maybe just roll one way. Okay, your left is down. If you roll to your left,
I'll pick up my BRT here, Tom, and then I'll have more freedom of movement.
just to get a good look over. Then I'll be ready for the maneuver. I'm going to press your PGT a little closer to you so it doesn't hang on anything. And safer handle over down. Look good.
And Tom and Kayla, we have one check for you on the RFG box.
Departing, then copy.
If you would, Kayla, if you're able to see the RFG box, then just check the NZGLs on the what was on Kayla's left side of the NZGL, the RFG box. The NZGLs located there. If they look like they're mated or still.
They are mated full forward over center.
And on my side, I see the same.
All right, those are good checks.
And Drew, if that's next on the checklist, I'm ready for the maneuver.
Your go for the maneuver. You on the comm, and for Kayla, we're going to meet you back at the install location.
You're heading that way now?
Hey, Matthias, Roger, ready for the maneuver.
Sounds good, Tom. We're going to undo what we did here with some of the GCA first. So we're going to take you right, down, and then aft, and then we'll set up the manual back-off maneuver. So taking you 20 centimeters body right first.
Okay, copy.
Sorry, Ash, we're going to take your body out first, aft.
Body out.
Spacewalking astronauts Kayla Barron and Tom Marshburn have just finished retrieving the spare SASA from the Express Logistics carrier.
Ramp it out.
Barron will now make her way back to the P1 SASA worksite.
Motion.
Okay, and then 20 centimeters body down.
That is clear of all structure.
Okay. All right, we're going to set up, we're going to change it back to the ISACS frame, and then we'll get the next maneuver going.
Copy. Ready for the maneuver.
NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn will be the one that will take the spare SASA over to the P1 truss. Fortunately, he's got a ride with him. He's going to be taking the robotic arm under the direction of NASA astronaut Matthias Maurer and his backup Rajachari. Over the next few steps, they're going to install the spare SASA onto the P1. This is the same location where they took away the degraded SASA, and now they're putting a spare in its place. Everything from here on out will pretty much be the steps of removing the degraded SASA in reverse. This involves NASA astronaut Kayla Barron mating some cables.
About zenith motion.
Copy. Motion.
She'll have 3 cables to attach to the spare, one that does data, one connecting heater power, and the other connecting operational power.
Heading up to the zenith edge of the truss right now.
Copy.
Meter go.
On your screen now are live views of Tom Marshburn moving on the robotic arm of the International Space Station carrying the spare NASA.
Wrapping out.
As Kayla Barron moves to the P1 work site and Tom Marshburn hitches a ride over there on the robotic arm, the International Space Station is flying over Kazakhstan.
See ya, Kayla, back almost at the FPMU.
Hey, Tom, here comes the Joecast, about 7 minutes long. It's going to take you back mostly starboard, back to a place you've been before.
Ready.
As the astronauts make their way over to the work site, we can take some questions. We solicited some questions on our Instagram at NASA Johnson, and we can go through a couple of those. The first one comes from Adam, who asks, what truss is the antenna on? Well, the truss is going to be installed on the P1 truss. This is where the degraded unit is and where the spare is going to be installed shortly. The spare was kept on the Express Logistics Carrier 3, which is located on the P3 truss of the International Space Station. Another Instagram user asks, does one feel the cold from the outside and the heat from the sun? This is referring to when we're in an orbital nighttime and daytime. There's fluctuations in temperature. It's true that they can feel the difference, and they take precautions like lowering and rising their visor, as you may have heard Ground IV Drew Morgan talking about or advising them to do. They also have mechanisms built into their spacesuits. They wear garments underneath to help with temperature regulation, and the suits themselves are designed to keep the astronauts at a stable temperature.
How you doing, Tom?
Doing good. Holding on to it faster.
Another Instagram user asks, what is on your pre-spacewalk playlist? And while unfortunately our spacewalkers Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron haven't clued us into what they were listening to beforehand, we do know that on their launch day, they listened to bands such as Guns N' Roses, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, Imagine Dragons, and so forth. We've got another question from Instagram user Fiona Daly, who wants to know how long is the spacewalk? Well, the spacewalk is planned for 6.5 hours. However, the astronauts are speeding through their tasks. They're accomplishing everything in great time. Another user asked, how much time does it take to prepare for a spacewalk? We talked about the advantage that Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron had to find out that the degraded unit had happened before they left the ground so they could train into the neutral buoyancy laboratory.
For the stanchion, and I got myself a pretty good mounting.
However, the crew did get to prep while in orbit. All 5 astronauts of the USOS side, Marshburn, Barron, Vandehei, Chari, and Maurer, have been studying the steps of the spacewalk, along with the tool configurations and any precautions they should be aware of for the past week. Barron and Marshburn specifically, our spacewalkers today, prepared the equipment lock in the days leading up to today's spacewalk, doing tasks like getting their checklists and drinking water ready and inspecting each of their tools. This is all part of some preparations they did before the spacewalk. It also included some onboard verification fit checks where they tried on their spacesuits and made sure that they're comfortable and easy to move around.
Hey guys, just wanted to check back in with you. We're less than a minute away from a handover.
Copy, Drew. Thanks.
Roger.
One Instagram user wants to know how the spacewalk was practiced on Earth. We briefly mentioned the neutral buoyancy laboratory. Inside this giant pool is a giant mock-up of the International Space Station. To scale, the astronauts have a chance to go fully suited underwater in an environment that simulates the environment of space.
Jersey coming in my peripheral vision.
I am.
During this handover period, we've got another question from Astro Yesha, who wants to know what the rest of the crew is doing during the EVA. That's a great question. We've got Matthias Maurer from the European Space Agency. He's inside the International Space Station controlling the robotic arm that Tom Marshburn has been taking to and from his work sites. Rajachari is alongside him, kind of serving as his backup.
And we're back with you after the handover.
Hey, Drew. Yeah, I'm just off of Kayla's left shoulder and waiting for the next GCA to publish.
All right, Tom, we're ready for maneuver to GCA to publish P1 NASA install position.
And I'm ready. So are you good with the time?
I'm also ready.
All right. Start GCA.
Copy. We'll load the values and let you know before we start motion. You're basically going to go about 2 meters nadir, just a little starboard, and then about 2 meters forward in that order.
Okay, copy. We still got the comm. Sorry, early call.
And here comes 2 meters nadir motion.
All right, starting GCA to published.
And with the night and the camera views, we can't really clear your head very well, so just kind of keep an eye on that, please.
I have a good view of each one said.
And I do as well. In good motion.
Barron and Marshburn now confirming that they've reunited at the P1 truss, where they will install the spare SASA.
Here to go. Centimeters. All right, there will be a little bit of starboard motion here. Centimeters to go. Okay, and then about 2 meters ISS forward starting motion.
Good motion forward.
See good motion.
Centimeters to go. Kayla, just let us know if the ORU gets too close.
You're good. You're clear.
In order to install the spare SASA at the P1 truss, there's a number of tasks that they'll have to do. Kayla Barron will work to mate the cables for data, heater power, and operational power. Tom Marshburn will work to loosen the gimbals. If you recall earlier in the EVA, he had installed these to keep the SASA in the locked position.
Continue to publish. It seems like we're close.
Okay.
You're already there to publish?
By loosening the gimbals, the SASA unit will have the ability to track satellites again.
Wrapping out. All right, there's the published position. How's that look?
Good for me.
Yeah, me too. It's GCA.
GCA complete. Brakes are on, and you are go for P1 SASA install.
Roger.
All right.
We need to go a little bit away from the bracket. A little bit aft.
A little bit aft. Okay. I've got light touch if you want to just move it.
Okay, if you could rocket starboard.
I can starboard.
Now push straight down.
Barron and Marshburn now working together to get into the right position to install the spare SASA. This activity total is supposed to take about 45 minutes.
Ready to get in position to drive the bolt.
All right, I felt it pop in there.
Yep, it looks great. It's flush with the plate.
Great. I'm getting a little slight tugs and it's not moving, so it's all good.
That looks fantastic, guys, and we'll be ready to help you configure your PGT when you're ready, Caleb.
Roger. For settings?
Bravo 7, clockwise 2.
Earlier during the spacewalk, Kayla Barron removed the stanchion bolt. That was the last stop to removing the degraded SASA unit. Now, one of her first tasks in installing the new one is driving the stanchion bolt again. She's getting her tool configured to do so now with ground IV Drew Morgan.
A little bit of side load, but you're good now.
Okay.
It popped right back in again, looks like.
It's good now.
Kayla, we're expecting 17 to 18 and a half turns, and we'll take your torque turn and light.
Roger. Starting turn.
Your PGT moving. There's a side load there a little bit.
You're getting a live view now of NASA astronaut Kayla Barron driving the stanchion mount bolts. Meanwhile, off-screen, Tom Marshburn is holding the SASA in place attached to the robotic arm.
Work my way back down a little bit more.
Looks like PGT's going in. In 20 turns on your 22 turns now. How's it working?
Yeah, it's still driving. I think,
There's as you torque, there seems to be an increased side load.
the, body of the PGT interferes a bit, or the, mast itself interferes with the body of the PGT.
Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult to maintain a perfect position.
Maybe I'll go light touch and maybe me on it. So there, I'm feeling some side load there. GT still turning though. I'll push against, see if I can relieve that counteractive side load.
As NASA astronaut Kayla Barron works to drive those bolts, the International Space Station is flying over the South China Sea, headed towards the Philippines, and we are about 3 hours into our spacewalk.
So I think I'm sensing there's a little bit of play in the off-dock position.
Right.
And what I'm wondering is, I think, it came off, actually, the soft dock. What I'm thinking is maybe the bolt wasn't actually engaged in the threads, obviously, or else it wouldn't have done that. Can you push straight nadir? And push a little bit port.
A little bit port.
Yep. And back a little bit starboard, please. Now push straight nadir into the plate. And if you can try to hold it right there,
All right.
I will try again.
Counteract any side load.
And that was 17 turns.
Yeah, I'm going to keep a light touch and going to pull on a little bit.
Can I finish my call real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
17 turns, green light, 26 foot-pounds. In that time, I was actually able to see the bolts drop in depth, so I believe it's fully engaged, Tom.
Okay, great.
But you're welcome to give it a little wiggle to confirm for yourself.
Sorry to on your call.
Okay.
We copy all, Kayla, and that sounds like a good install. Good install.
Yeah.
I concur. She looks good.
Okay, great work.
My ret.
Great work. Yes, Tom, you can remove your ret, and Kayla, we're going to have you start to work the cables.
Roger.
NASA astronaut Drew Morgan, serving as our ground IV today, just gave the go for Kayla Barron to start working on the cables of the spare SASA.
Tethers are clear, and and then you can work with Raja and Matthias to move to the spare gimbal lock back off position.
All right. Thanks, Drew.
When she was removing the degraded unit,
Out of the way, I've got good clearance all around. Ready for the maneuver.
Copy, nice job wagging that thing down, and copy your go for maneuver to spare gimbal lock off, back off position. Give us a second to set up, and we'll get you moving.
some kind words from Rajachari there.
Got her.
Draw.
When removing the degraded SASA unit, Kayla Barron had disconnected 3 cables to free the degraded SASA in preparation to move it to the express logistics carrier. And now that the spare is in its place, she'll work to reconnect these 3 cables, powering data, heater power, and operational power to the spare SASA.
All right, Tom, this next position is going to look very familiar. We'll take you aft, just a little port, and then zenith. And starting with 2 meters aft. Starting motion.
Good motion.
For those just tuning in, we're talking about the SASA, or the S-band antenna sub-assembly. This is used to transmit low-rate voice and data between the space station and the team here on the ground in mission control using S-band radio frequencies. It went down mid-September with a failed return link, meaning we can send data up, but the degraded antenna lost its ability to send signals back to us. NASA astronauts Kayla Barron and Tom Marshburn are on a spacewalk outside of the International Space Station now and are working to install the spare unit.
About 2 meters zenith, starting motion.
Good motion.
Centimeters. Out. He's setting up for another JOCAS. That's be about 4.5 minutes long.
Guys, GCA complete?
GCA is complete.
GCA is complete, and we'll let you know before we hit start on the JOCAS.
Copy.
Drew.
We're with you.
I have 4 in my hand, and I'm ready to mate to J4. The lever is full aft over center with this in, no FOD, good EMI band.
Go to mate.
Roger, go to mate.
And Kayla, you can continue with P3 and P2 after that, and we'll catch your checks after the GCAs.
What you see now on your screen are the connectors that Kayla Barron is working to get connected to the spare SASA.
Copy. I'm seeing good motion.
While Kayla Barron is working on those 3 cables, off screen we have Tom Marshburn in the robotic arm. His tasks are to loosen the gimbal locks so that later on in the procedures, when the spare SASA is powered up, it will be able to move and track satellites. Right now, the current gimbal locks are keeping it rigid and in place so that no unexpected movements happen and we keep our spacewalkers safe.
About 2/3 of the way through.
Drew, all 3 NCGLs are mated, full forward over center. All had good pins, no fog, good EMI bands prior to mate.
Copy, Kayla. Great work. We are done with those 3 connectors. Those are good checks. The next thing we're going to have you do is we want you to move your green hook outboard 2 handrails to 3624, 3624 in preparation for get-ahead.
Roger, move green hook to 3624.
Kayla Barron communicating with the ground that she has finished mating the cables to the spare SASA, meaning that the unit now is receiving power and data. Ground IV Drew Morgan already has his sights on some get-ahead tasks as he's getting Kayla Barron in position for. We're 3 hours into the spacewalk, scheduled to take about 6.5 hours, but we're already moving well ahead of schedule.
Wrapping out. And there's position hold. We'll be setting up for a manual move next.
Copy. And then look at it, over the meter. I'm ready for the GCA to publish whenever you are.
I just load the values.
Copy.
Tom, we're ready for maneuver to GCA to publish spare gimbal lock position.
Okay, ready for the GCA to publish. Start GCA. Station starboard 1 meter.
Copy. And do you want to take it to the published, or just?
Hey, firm.
So it's going to be about 1 meter starboard and then 1.5 meters aft, starting the starboard motion first.
All sounds good.
Got my green hook up. I'm moving over to 3624, and I'll head out to meet you, Tom.
Copy. So in motion, Roger.
1 meter to go.
Motion.
Okay, stop in motion. That's about 40 centimeters, about 1/2 meter short of the published for starboard.
Okay, looks good for right now.
All right, we'll give you about 1.5 meters aft then.
Sounds good. Continue. Good clearance.
See, 1 meter to go.
Continue. Continue.
First.
Continue.
20 centimeters.
And stop motion.
The International Space Station is flying through an orbital nighttime, so the views are a little dark, but you can see the Canadarm2 with NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn attached.
You're a little closer than original, so just make sure you've watched the clearance as we slide to starboard.
Okay, good clearance.
He's in communication with NASA astronaut Raj Achari. Right now he's working to loosen the gimbals to allow the SAS antenna to track satellites and allow for communication between the ground and the space station.
Say 20 centimeters.
Sorry, 20 centimeters, zenith coming.
Copy, you see good motion and stop motion. All right, in GCA.
GCA complete. Coming on and brakes around.
Okay, you're ready for PGT settings. Gimbal bolt. Move.
Okay, we were with you, Tom. So one caution to read you, as you recall, that we don't want to exceed turn counts on these bolts because that can cause damage to the bolt. And we're going to have 2 sets of PGT settings on this. The first round will be Bravo 4 counterclockwise 2.
Bravo 4 counterclockwise 2 confirmed. Verified.
Okay, this is going to be a single turn, and we're going to do this in order, 4, 3, 2, then 1. So we're starting with 4 towards your boots on the right side.
Boots right side, number 4, in work. 1 turn only.
You just heard Ground IV configure the tools for NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn, give him the correct settings to loosen the bolts on the gimbal locks. There's 4 of these. Marshburn will be starting on the right side with number 4 and work his way down. Once the spare SASA is installed and configured, as Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron are working to do now, the EVA does not stop there.
Counterclockwise 2.
That's a good readback.
After the install, they will head back to the Express Logistics Carrier 3 and permanently install the degraded SASA. If you recall earlier in the EVA, they brought it over there and temporarily stowed it. That after they've installed the spare, they're going to work their way back there and get a more permanent configuration.
Working out at 4. The torque I'm reading. Checking my settings. Not getting turns on the bolt. That's Bravo 4. Counter 2, and it's torquing out.
I'd copy, Tom, and we just wanted to confirm what bolt you were on. If you could use the head, foot, right, left coordinate to tell us which bolt you just worked there.
The right foot bolt. Bolt for the right foot, number 4 in my memory.
That's the correct bolt. We're just checking on the settings here. And guys, the sun will be coming up here in just a couple minutes.
Copy.
Copy.
And Tom, we're still checking for you.
Copy.
Okay, Tom, we're going to move now to bolt number 3. That's boot side to your left.
Boot left, copy. For 3.
And this will be the same thing, 1 turn only.
1 turn only. Verified. Bravo 4 counterclockwise 2.
Good setting.
For bolt 3.
NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn confirming that he's completed work on the first bolt and is moving on to the second one. Meanwhile, the crew got a heads up that the International Space Station will be moving to an orbital daytime. It's currently in the South Pacific Ocean, getting ready to fly over New Zealand.
All right, Tom, that's good news. We're going to move on to bolt number 2, and that is on
number 2.
Left side toward your helmet.
Marshburn now is on bolt number 2. Remember, Marshburn started with 4 and is working his way down to 1.
Good reading.
One turn on bolt 2.
Copy. And we're going to go on to bolt 1, helmet right side.
1, helmet right side.
Because our spacewalkers today are making such good time accomplishing their tasks well ahead of schedule, the crew here is thinking about getting started on some get-ahead tasks.
Turns on 1 or 4.
One of the get-ahead tasks is looking at a bolt. I was on the airlock, it was showing some minor wear and tear, and installing a new one was actually one of the get-ahead tasks from Toma Piskei and Aki Hoshide back in September during their spacewalk.
Watch it out for that.
This is unrelated to this ASA, but since the crew will be working around the airlock as they ingress and egress, one of the get-ahead tasks are to go ahead and take photos of the pit pin that Toma Piskei and Aki Hoshide had installed.
Yeah, it's not rolling either.
Okay, Tom, what we're going to do is stay with the original settings at Bravo 4, and then go back to bolt number 4, right side toward your boots, and we're going to try to do that single turn again.
Okay. Verifying Bravo 4. And going back to bolt 4, the right boot.
That's a good readback.
One turn on 4.
All right, that's great, Tom. Let's go to bolt 1, do the same thing. That's right side towards your helmet.
Right side towards the helmet, same thing. It worked. And broke torque on that. We tried again on that. Like it did, but actually it's didn't see any socket movement. Let me turn it again. Yeah, the socket's not turning on it. On the septum a little bit, see if I can get any motion again. One more time.
We're following along, Tom. Let us know what you get there. We are going into a period here where we may have a little bit of Radicom. Just wanted to give you a heads up.
Copy. No, it's breaking this. It's breaking the torque. 1 is not moving yet.
All right, Tom, we copy. We're checking. We may go to a different PGT setting. Stand by.
Copy.
So, Tom, an additional suggestion at the original setting, Bravo 4 still, we're going to ask you to put a little bit of movement into the high gain antenna, see if you can jiggle while attempting that one turn, if you're able.
Okay. Didn't work. Avoiding that cable. I'm not getting motion from the septum and still torquing out. Try it one more time.
While Marshburn works on loosening those bolts, communicating with the ground.
Okay, Tom, we are at this point going to go to PGT setting of Bravo 7, still counterclockwise 2. So this is a high torque. We think that this might break off the bolt, so just be ready to catch that if you're able.
Copy. Bravo 7.
One turn only.
Counterclockwise 2. Turn
And
only on bolt 1.
Single turn, bolt 1.
Single turn, bolt 1. Copy.
He's working with the ground to configure his pistol grip tool to different settings, another way of loosening the gimbal bolt locks.
Okay, 3/4 turn there. A little bit more. And we got a 1 turn on 1.
Great news. All right, we're going to go to our next set of PGT settings when you're ready.
Ready?
Alpha 2, counterclockwise 2. Alpha 2, counter 2.
Other end of the spectrum. Alpha 2, counterclockwise 2, starting with bolt 4.
Once again, loosening these gimbals allows the SAS antenna to track satellites and allow for communication between the ground and the space station. This is complementary to the work that Kayla Barron did, attaching the ISS cables for operational power and data.
Torque your boots on the right side.
That's complete. It was easy for bolt 4. 2 turns added.
Copy. Bolt 3, boot side, left.
Boot left. Good work. Running easily. 2 more turns for bolt 3. Going to bolt 2.
Good news. Left side towards your helmet.
Left helmet. Running. Easy turn. Turns. Now over to bolt 1.
We're ready for bolt 1.
Right side helmet. Getting good motion, easy motion. Turns. The bolts are obviously free. They're just not easily coming away from their position. I'm going to stow the PGT, if that's the right next move.
Yeah, Tom, you can go ahead and stow your PGT and rotate those bolts back away from the septum to the unlocked position, and then just verify that the gimbal lock bolts are secure in that unlocked position.
Work.
Now that the gimbal lock bolts, all 4 of them, have been loosened, it's now Tom Marshburn's task to rotate the gimbal lock bolts away and into the unlocked position. Once complete, Marshburn will verify with the ground to communicate that they are secure in the unlocked position.
Four is not budging. It's loose in the slot, but not coming around the bend there. Even after jiggling the antenna. I'm working on 3 now.
This task that Marshburn is working on is the last step before he gets the go to power up the SASA.
And Tom, I just wanted to check back with you. Are they all rotating back okay?
1 and 4 again are not. 2 and 3, after some jiggling, the rotation of the septum did go back. I'll make sure they're fully they're fully back in the stowed position, so 1 and 4. They'll move in the slot, but are not coming out. So I think I need to jiggle the, avoiding the cable. Jiggling that septum.
Marshburn confirming now that while some of the bolts have been unlocked with ease, others need a little bit more coaxing.
We're following Tom, and we're still talking.
Just wanted to offer up, if we think Tom's going to be troubleshooting for a while, I could go work a few get-ahead tasks. And it's not far from here, so I should be able to move back up while he's geocaching over here.
Kayla, for you, we appreciate the offer. I don't think we're going to go to get-aheads just yet. We do want to have you inspect the RFG box of the degraded unit. We'll just give it a look over. If you have the spare capacity to take a look and take some photos
Absolutely.
of it, that'll appreciate. And we're about 2 minutes from a handover.
Drew, I'm not getting a lot of motion from the septum like we did on the ground unit. The 1 and 4 seem to be, well, they're pretty loose when they're in the slot. They're just not riding over out of the slot, despite some rolling and jiggling. I'm not actually seeing a lot of motion in the septum. So this new SASA.
Okay, Tom.
Moving too much.
We appreciate the words. Right now, we understand that 1 and 4 are the problem bolts, and so what we thought we'd have you do is set your PGT to alpha 2 and put 1 additional turn on bolts 1 and 4.
Alpha 2, 1 additional turn. It seems like that's the best next step from my perspective. So alpha 2, counter 2 verified, going for 4. 1 turn only.
1 turn only.
1 more turn. Still wedged in there. Try number 1. One turn complete. Okay, number 1 came out. All 4 bolts. And Drew, come check.
Yep, Tom, we're back with you after the handover. So we were standing by for how that went with those additional turns on 1 and 4.
Yeah, that was the trick. A little stuck, but 1 and 4 finally, actually 1 would not move, so, 4 would not move, even after the extra turn. But then after the extra turn, number 1 did move, went back to 4, and then it popped out as well. So all 4 bolts are in the stow position.
All right, that's exactly what we wanted to hear.
We're in a brief but expected handover between satellites, getting a live view now of Mission Control Houston, where Flight Director and Ground IV are communicating with Tom Marshburn, who is troubleshooting getting some gimbal locks loosened. Again, this allows free movement once the SASA is powered on, so that way it can communicate with satellites.
Okay, Tom, and
just double checking on. Yep, they're all in stow position.
Copy.
Go ahead.
So we wanted to also just give you a quick update that you guys are about an hour and 40 minutes ahead of the timeline. Our limiting consumable is still MEDOX. It's 7.5 hours, so plenty of time. And you guys are doing great. This is everything that we had hoped. This is perfect. Tom, you're going to be doing empty-handed flyback. Take us some pictures and video. And then Kayla will take any words that you have on your inspection so far.
Roger, once they get into the JOCAS, I'll give you those words.
We'll get started.
And, thanks for Roger and Matthias. Ready for the maneuver.
Sounds good, Tom. We're going to first have to take you 20 centimeters nadir, and then undo what we did before, and then we'll take you to temp stow back off position. And so copy your go for maneuver to the ELC-3 temp stow back off position. I'll let you know before motion starts.
Copy. Yes, I'll go for the maneuver.
Here comes 20 centimeters nadir.
Begin motion.
We just got confirmation that well ahead of schedule, our spacewalkers, NASA astronauts Kayla Barron and Tom Marshburn, have installed the spare SASA to the International Space Station's P1 truss. This involved installing a stanchion bolt and connecting some wires that Barron had previously disconnected. This allowed power to the unit. And Tom Marshburn worked diligently to get the gimbal locks released. The fourth one gave him a little bit of trouble and required a little bit more coaxing, but at the end of the day, Tom Marshburn was able to get the job done.
Starting motion.
Begin motion.
Here to go.
Good motion.
10 centimeters ramping out. Okay, next will take me about a meter port.
Copy, meter port. Begin motion.
Centimeters. Okay, ramping out. Motion's complete, so we're going to set up for a JOCAS now.
All right, NGTA.
And Tom, we copied your go for SASA power up, so we're working that now.
The motion is about almost 7 minutes long.
Copy.
And it's going to be mostly toward motion back to where you were before on the ELC-3.
Copy.
And Drew, when you're ready to copy, I've got words on the condition of the degraded SASA RFG.
We're all listening.
So I have a good view of the, what would be the sort of nadir face and then the larger surface area face that faced outboard when it was installed. Right now I don't have a great view of the most zenith face, but on the main area of the RFG that would face outboard when installed, there's discoloration on the 93 along the crowd area. There is what appears to be a small pit at the center. The MMOD strike. And then on the more nadir face, and the grid on the nadir part of the main plane, there are also evidence of MMOD strikes. And in some areas, it looks
Kayla, stand by real quick.
Z93. Okay.
Kayla, we were going through a period of pretty ratty calm there, so we lost some of that. I'll stand by for one moment.
How you doing, Tom?
Doing good. The first pass in the daytime. It's something else.
Barron and Marshburn now preparing to power up the SASA. This is the spare that they took from the Express Logistics carrier over to the P-1 truss to replace the degraded unit. Following its successful power-up, they will head back to the ELC and stow the degraded unit.
I'm sorry about cutting you off there.
No problem at all. I was just also mentioning that some of the spots that look like MMOD strikes, it looks just like, sort of matte silver metal underneath. And then other areas are more like a brownish orange color around the area of the hit. I don't know if that is just some sort of oxidation or something, or like the age of the hit. But from my vantage point, I can probably see at least 10 small MOD strikes. I was able to get some, what I think will be decent pictures of the faces I've described, and I might be able to get eyes on the other face once we have it installed on the FRAM.
Copy all. Kayla, that was a great description. We may take you up on that offer to do further inspection once we get it installed. And then we wanted to confirm with you the number. You were describing a number of MMOD strikes, and we just wanted to confirm that number again.
Let me see. I would say I can see 11 from my perspective. But because of the raised grid area, there might be some that I can't see on these spaces. And I'm only really counting what I can see on 2 of the spaces, and not really the size or the most.
All right, copy that, Kayla. Good words, and we will come up with a plan if there's additional inspection that we'll take once we move it over there to the FRAM.
Okay.
Kayla.
Yes, sir.
You could take your right hand and stick it out to the right. Off to your right a little bit. Fingers out. Thank you.
Got some good shots of you over at the one site, Tom.
Nice.
I think they're good. We'll find out later.
About 90% done with the move.
Copy.
Roger.
You might have seen a camera peeking out from the bottom of the screen with direction from Tom Marshburn asking Kayla to take a peek. It looks like we just had a selfie in space.
There we go.
Before the quick photo, Kayla Barron was communicating with the ground, giving a visual inspection of the outside of the International Space Station.
And we are ready for maneuver to GCA to publish to SASA transfer position.
And I'm ready for GCA to publish. Are you good with comms?
Yep.
Right, start GCA. Publish.
GCA, it's to be about 2.5 meters nadir. I'll let you know before the motion starts.
Copy.
All right, starting motion nadir.
Copy. See good motion.
Meters.
It's tough to tell on your screen, but on the right side, the robotic arm of the station is gently moving astronaut Tom Marshburn.
1 meter.
Copy. You.
50 centimeters.
And stop motion.
Out. About 30 centimeters short.
And standby 1. Kayla, I think we're in the, let's see. Pretty good position here, Roger, I believe. You agree, Kayla?
Yeah, as long as you feel comfortable, you can control the SAS as I release it. I can.
All right. Hit GCA.
GCA complete.
All right, let me get a red on it here.
Standing by.
Marshburn communicating with the robotic arm operators Matthias Maurer and Rajachari.
Release my ret now while the handrail is still near me.
Okay. And I have control.
Alright. My ret is removed. And Tom, I'm going to unlock the jaws and then I'll release them.
Copy. Yeah, I have control.
Roger, you have control. Jaws are unlocked. This is released.
I've got it. Got 2 hands on it now.
Roger.
And Matthias and Roger, I believe we have a GCA to publish coming up next.
Confirm, yep, we're just switching the frames.
The ingress 8 is clear, tethers are clear.
Well, that's in work, Tom. I'm going to work on getting into a better position to monitor the alignment pins.
Copy.
All right, Tom, the command frame is switched to body frame, and we are ready for maneuver to GCA to publish SAS frame stow position.
Copy, ready for the let's start GCA. And body left, 1 meter.
Copy, yep, that's what we've got for you.
Marshburn and Barron now moving to the Express Logistics carrier where they're working to soft dock the degraded SASA into the frame.
Good motion. Watch your left arm a little bit there.
Roger, give me 1 second. I'll move away a little bit.
10 centimeters ramping out. Okay, that's the published position. How's that look?
I'm going to need nadir, but let me let Kayla move down, and the crew lock bag will need to be moved as well.
Am I?
We're in body frame if you want to give us reference to you, otherwise we can figure it out.
That's right. All right, body forward. Let's go 40 centimeters.
Be 40 centimeters body forward to confirm you're good with Kayla's position.
Copy, and good with Kayla's position, if she's good with it.
Yep.
Okay, and just watch your boot plate.
Copy. Eyes are on it. Thank you. Be good motion.
20 centimeters to go.
Continue. Continue.
There's.
All right. Let us assess this.
Okay, there's your 40 centimeters. Position hold.
Tom, you will need to go to your left.
Yeah, well.
Now go towards the plate. The alignment pin is in.
All right.
It's
Good.
kind of hovering over the alignment.
I think I'm in a good position with your direction, so in GCA.
Copy, GCA is complete, and brakes are on.
Copy, brakes on. All right, Kayla. Ready for your direction?
Pull it towards you a little bit. Get the alignment pin's in now.
Okay.
Now if you can rotate it so my end comes down, there you go. It's nice and flush there.
Didn't feel a good, satisfying pop.
There's no soft dock if I remember correctly here. It's just the alignment pin, Tom.
That's right.
And I'm going to try to see if I can get these bolts hand started. Alright, let me realize I kind of knocked it there. If you could hold it as flush with the frame as possible.
Yeah. I need to get more left to do that.
The astronauts now are talking about the FRAM, or the Flight Reusable Attach Mechanism. It's what these replacement parts are attached to, and it's how they were brought onto the space station in the first place. If you recall earlier in the EVA, when they removed the degraded SASA, they temporarily stowed it back onto the Express Logistics carrier, but now they're doing a more permanent installation of the degraded unit.
Matthias, Roger, I'd like manual GCA or GCA to my left.
Copy, the brakes are off, and how far do you want to go?
So let's go left 20 centimeters.
20 centimeters left, coming in.
Got good clearance. Be good motion.
10. There's 20 centimeters.
Okay. Let's see. Testing.
Tom, the end on your right needs to go down.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Let's see if that works in GCA.
Copy, GCA complete. Brakes are on.
All right, Tom, if you could hold...
Oh, boy.
challenge here is to get these hand sorted. They're going to have to be pretty well aligned.
Right.
So right here is a really good position, I think. You keep it stable if I remove my hand.
Let me go manual another 20. Roger Matthias, another manual to my left 20, or GCA to my left 20 centimeters.
Starting GCA, 20 centimeters body left. The brakes are off, and starting motion.
Okay, good clearance. Good motion.
Okay, wrapping out.
Right, we'll check that out. Assessing. Let's try this in GCA.
Copy, GCA complete, and the brakes are on.
Looks like it was turning.
I'll try the other one first.
Okay.
Maybe I will put down my VRT, Tom, and that would help us.
Okay. The next move would be to move in the arm again, so I'm more in like your position. You could do.
I have my VRT.
All right. Okay. I'll tell you what, I can get into a much better position here if I get some arm motion.
Give me one chance to
Absolutely.
try it.
All the chances you need or want.
The real challenge here. Difficult to tell if they're really over the...
You can see the witness from the prior NASA. They're lined just right for that, the little where it's not oxidized.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Like a little outline there.
Yeah.
You got some engagement there, maybe? Nope. Popping up.
Could try getting out the ratchet wrench. Or
Let's see.
we could ask if you could just try driving it with the PC.
It's got some play in it, but it's not just coming all the way up. I'm going to lift it out, keep my hand on it. If you want to lift it up just a tad, see if it comes out.
Oh, it's
I think it's a...
retracting back out, so I don't think it's engaged.
This other one, oh, I see. Yeah, the other one is, I thought was holding it, but it did move a bit. All right, I can help you a lot more if we do a couple more maneuvers.
Can you lift it up like a tiny bit and let's see if I can see the holes.
Kayla, we wanted to give you the...
Go back in.
Kayla, we wanted to give you the additional words that we can use PGT at a low setting, like an alpha 1 setting, or like you suggested, the ratchet wrench. Either two of those you would like to try or go with.
Yeah, let's give that a try. Let's try the PGT first since I have it handy.
Okay.
That works. And then when you have a moment, Kayla, we'd like you to power your HECA off. It's getting a little warm.
Let's see.
If you're just joining us, NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron are on a spacewalk to replace a faulty SASA unit. Right now they're stowing the degraded one. Earlier in the day they had worked to remove it from its original position on the P1 truss, grab the spare from the Express Logistics Carrier number 3, and replace it in the degraded SASA's original position. They had temporarily stowed the degraded SASA, but now they're working to permanently fix it onto the spare part section of the International Space Station. Tom Marshburn is actually the oldest human being to conduct an EVA, and he is very proud of that record. This is his 5th spacewalk overall, the first 3 occurring back-to-back on his 15-day STS-127 mission back in 2009. The 4th spacewalk of his career, alongside NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy, happened in 2013.
Oh, I inadvertently turned it off. Sorry. Tom, I'm thinking that it needs to rotate the left side toward you. It looks a little...
My left side towards me?
Correct. Yeah, that's better right there.
All right. And,
Seemed to be no joy there.
okay.
And
Why don't I go for a better position for myself? I think I can help you out a lot more.
okay.
All right. And T.S. Raja, another GCA.
We're ready. Brakes are coming off. Where do you want to go?
Okay, 20 centimeters body left.
20 more centimeters body left. Starting motion.
Good motion.
Centimeters. Wrapping out.
Okay, body up. Taylor, if you can check over my head, I just can't see it. I think I'm good.
Stand by.
All right.
How far do you want to go up?
I'm going to go up 30 centimeters.
Okay, copy. 30 centimeters, body up, and Kayla's got your head clearance.
Your head's clear.
All right.
Starting motion.
I see good motion. That's great. And then body pitch forward, 20 degrees. Got good clearance.
Okay, body pitch forward, 20 degrees.
Good copy.
Starting motion. Five degrees. Degrees. Degrees to go. Wrapping up.
Right, and I'll take body up another 20 centimeters.
Copy, body up 20 centimeters.
Copy.
Starting motion. And there's your 20 centimeters.
All right, stop motion in GCA.
Copy, GCA complete. Brakes are on.
Copy. All right, try not to side load it, but now I can control it a little bit better.
It's not currently flush.
Okay, working on that. Yeah. Need to get my hand on the inside here. Yep.
The astronauts here are attaching the SASA to the FRAM, or the Flight Reusable Attach Mechanism.
Go down.
The astronauts are using mast bolts to keep it secure.
Your left hand needs to go down towards the FRAM.
Left hand.
This particular FRAM allows the communications antenna to receive heater power. They'll also affix thermal blankets to preserve the antenna's integrity in case they ever want to use it in the future.
Go towards the FRAM. Straight down.
You push down on it. We've got, how's that?
We'll see here.
Rotate a little bit.
Do you think you can reach the bolts?
Give it a whirl.
If I were to hold it down?
You can hold it down. Yeah, I might be able to do that. This one certainly.
I think,
I'm giving it a good quarter turn.
Tom, we've got good clearance if you want to go body forward, if that would help.
I'll take it.
could you put a hand back on it?
Yeah. Okay, Roger, stand by one. I'm going to put a hand back on there. The next thing we could do is this stable, maybe hitting it with the BGT again.
I think we're just not quite aligned here.
Yeah, just slight.
And
let's get the BGT out and push down on it. I can wiggle it until you feel it go in. So doing all that, plus trying to turn it with your hands is just not. And Roger, I'm going to take you up.
Oh wait, I might have gotten it.
Oh, okay. Stand by. Roger.
Oh man, I think we're this close. So maybe there's just sound up in there.
So, guys, we've been following along, and so one of the suggestions that we had was maybe try, like Tom described, is go ahead and engage the PGT on the bolt. And if we need to put Tom in a better GCAM, just in a slightly better position, and then Kayla has the PGT on, and then when we feel it in position, give it that less than one turn with the at alpha 1 setting.
Sounds good. So I'm going to do a quick GCA. And Roger, GCA, body forward, 10 centimeters.
Copy. Brakes are coming off and giving you body forward 10 centimeters. Starting motion.
We just reached the 4-hour mark into the planned 6.5-hour spacewalk with NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron. They are now working to stow the degraded SASA, this one that failed, or part of it went down back in September. They replaced it with another unit, and now they're just stowing the SASA onto the FRAM.
We'll try this.
Complete. Brakes are on.
I'll see if I can rotate it a little bit.
And Kayla, go ahead and go for 2 turns.
They're discussing now the best way to get this done with their ground IV, Drew Morgan, and the EVA team here in Mission Control. That involves getting their PGT, their pistol grip tool, it's like a cordless drill in space, configured, and using astronauts Matthias Maurer and Rajachari to get Tom Marshburn in a slightly more advantageous position on the robotic arm.
Yep. Go. Went in as well. I think you're in on both.
All right, good work, and Kayla. We're going to reset to alpha 5 clockwise 2. Alpha 5 clockwise 2.
As the astronauts got directions on their tool configuration from the ground IV, you are looking at a live view of helmet camera number 16 belonging to Kayla Barron. You're now seeing her point of view on the spacewalk today.
Copy, Kayla, and your 5.5 to 9 turns.
If it'd be easier for me to hit this one, or do you have a good reach for it?
That was about 8 turns, and I think it torqued out. Agree, Tom? You trying to say that?
I'm just going to put it back on there for you if you want to do it again.
I think it's torqued out, Tom.
Okay.
I got green light, 8 turns, 4.7 pounds.
Okay. Okay.
Stand by, Kayla, we're checking.
You want to do that one, Tom? Roger.
Yeah, how do you feel about your positioning?
Well, I think you are probably in a better spot for it.
Okay.
We'll wait for the go, though.
Right. Thank you.
Well, guys, stand by on the second bolt.
Okay. Standing by.
Okay, on the bolt that we just drove, we're going to just double check settings, alpha 5 clockwise 2, and then we're going to attempt that bolt one more time. We're expecting a little higher torque.
Alpha 5 clockwise 2 are set.
Yep, Kayla, and we'll hit that one again. We're looking for somewhere on the order of about 7 foot-pounds.
This time I got a green light, 7.3.
All right, that's a good install.
Barron now double checking on her work. She installed the first of the 2 mast bolts to connect the SASA to the FRAM, the flight releasable attach mechanism.
Good settings, 5.5 to 9 turns.
Thank you. 5.5 to 9.
As Kayla Barron drives that second mast bolt to secure it, we'll sometimes get some Earth views poking out of her wrist mirror. The International Space Station is about to cross the English Channel.
6.4 in 7 turns.
I read 6.9 on the torque there.
Okay, I might have missed that. Thank you.
All right, that's a good install as well.
Oh, great.
All right, Tom, for you, we wanted you to assess where you are in your arm position if you needed to do any GCA before we start installing the tent, the MLI tent. And then we're going to be standing by also for your go, whether we can move ahead with our comm swap, where we'll be swapping over to Space to Ground 3. That'll be seamless to you, but I will do a comm check there with you guys, but we just want to hear that you're in a good position with the arm first.
Okay. And I'm going to need to move around a bit. Let me just talk to Kayla for a second. So the shroud, don't need to worry about this side so much. We're going to be putting in quarter-turn fasteners on this side and there. Yep.
The folks here in Mission Control confirmed a good installation of the degraded SASA unit.
And Matthias, Roger?
Copy, we're ready. Do you want us to back out those other inputs you put in, or just go from here?
I'll start by doing some of that. That is body back by 20 centimeters.
The particular area where the degraded unit has been successfully installed to does allow the communications antenna to receive heater power.
20 centimeters.
Pretty soon, Tom Marshburn will work to reinstall the multi-layer insulation, the MLI, which is another layer of thermal protection for the unit.
More if you want. That's the 20.
So that's good. And I will need heat down by 0.5 meter. Good motion. And stop motion.
That'll be stopping motion.
I think that'll do it. Sure I can reach everything.
Guys, I'm going to break in real quick. Kayla, we're going to have you stand by on the MLI tent for just a couple moments.
Okay, standing by.
Okay, in GCA.
That'll be GCA complete. Brakes are on.
And just so you know, I will need another one over to the right side. Get the other quarter-turn fasteners, so we're good for now.
So, Kayla, what we need is a thorough inspection of the low-gain antenna side of the RFG, the part that you probably weren't able to see while it was in the temp stow location. And if you can grab some photos for us, that'll be appreciated as well.
Stand by.
And Tom, for you, if you are in a good position with the GCA and you're content with where you're located there, what we want to do is hear your go for the comm swap.
All right, let me just check with Matthias and Roger. You guys good for the comm swap?
We're good with that. You mentioned maybe needing a little more GCA for that other quarter-turn fastener. So if you need that first, we're happy to do it. Otherwise, yeah, we're good.
That'll be the next step in the shroud installation. I can only get one side of it from here. I can't get both sides with one position, so.
Yeah, then we're fine with the comm swap.
Okay. Yeah, Drew, we're all good with comm swap at this point. So you have a go.
Okay, Tom, we copy, and Raja and Matthias know what to do if we lose comm for greater than 5 minutes. But otherwise, seamless to you. I'll check back with you once we're configured.
Copy.
You have live views now of NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn aboard the robotic arm, working to get that multi-layer insulation layer covered over the antenna. Getting live views now from NASA astronaut Kayla Barron's helmet camera on her very first spacewalk of her career as she puts the finishing touches on the stowage of the degraded SASA unit back onto the Express Logistics carrier. The unit is in good hands, attached to heat and getting its nice blanket on. It's a degraded unit for now, but in the event that they ever want to repair it and use it again, it is available for them to do so. A new unit to replace the spare did not have to be launched to the International Space Station for this operation, as it already lived right here where the degraded unit once was. We're in a brief but expected handover period right now. Meanwhile, outside of the International Space Station, NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron are working to install the multi-layer insulation. This is a big thermal blanket going over the antenna for protection and thermal protection as well. They're both on either side of the antenna working to get that fastened. These two spacewalking astronauts launched to the International Space Station as part of the Crew 3 mission just earlier this month, and as you can see, have already hit the ground running. Today they worked to install a new SASA unit that was already a part of the International Space Station, removing a degraded unit that had gone partially down just this past September. Because of other communications redundancies aboard the International Space Station, this spacewalk was not a huge rush when it went down in September, but now the International Space Station operations has time to do the spacewalk, and Kayla